Uh, Professor is busy consuming Bebe, and we want to begin. And a number of presentations have been made, but let me preface my reaction to these presentations by reminding us that the theme of this conference is access to justice during electioneering period in Africa in the 21st century. We have had different presentations. I would urge the presenters and those who are listening, there is a very good book that has been written by Adekeye Adebajo. Is a book that was written in 2010, The Curse of Berlin. And that book becomes very important, particularly when I listen to Dr. Wamwara about the nature of the African state. If you look at the African states, and this is the question that I posed to you, they were set to fail, and they are failing. And right now, there are almost 21 active conflicts across the continent of Africa, and they normally emerge after elections. In the next few years, we have elections in Zimbabwe, I think in 2023, in Tanzania in 2025, in South Africa in 2024. And if you look at what is happening in each one of those countries, the issues that were raised by Dr. Wamwara are issues that deserve to be addressed. And it would appear when he talks about 50+1, there is this obsession, and I want those who will be reacting to react to this. This idea of winner takes it all. What is it that we always want to win, and what is it that we always want to take? Is it our misunderstanding of what political power is? Because there is this idea that some people have lost and some people have won. With the consequence today that in Kenya, nobody wants to be in opposition. And we have, as at January this year, 81 registered political parties. Victoria told us in Tanzania there are only 19. Nobody wants to be in opposition because the government, or what we call government, is seen as a prize, as a trophy, which when one of your own wins, then in addition to the feel-good effect, there are also some goodies that come with it. And nobody is spared this agony, whether one has gone to school or not, and I've been involved in several arguments. School doesn't help. The professor from ethnic community A argues in the same manner as the Hards boy from that community. How will Africa liberate itself from this situation that we find ourselves in? In those of you who have read, if you read the Ethiopian Constitution of 1994, Article 39, they even said the communities have a right to self-determination, including secession. Right now, you know what is happening in Ethiopia. We have the Tigray conflict, and of course, the Oromo are also waiting in the wings. The Amhara are waiting in the wings. And the Somalis are waiting in the wings, and there are 83 communities. Dr. Wamwara talks about the Swiss model. When we talk about the Swiss model, what is our definition of democracy? Those of us who have gone to school, we have a problem because our understanding of democracy is as defined to us. 2 days ago, I was listening to a conversation between a Chinese professor and an American. And he said, this idea that there is a one-size-all-fits democracy, which is Anglo-Saxon, is misguided. We have democracy in China. Is it possible that there could be something that we could define as democracy? I'm putting that on the table. And in this regard, I'm inviting you to read a book written in 2013, African Culture in Governance and Development, The Ghana Paradigm, by Nana Kobina and Ketsi. And Nana is a traditional ruler as I speak. but a former professor of political science at the University of Cape Coast. And he poses a number of critical questions about governance in Africa. And he says perhaps the time is now, and that is how I heard Dr. Wamwara, the time is now that we should begin to unpack some of these things. John Henry Clark, whom you must read, the great American Pan-Africanist himself, said in the 1960s that it was not lost on him that with the explosion of what Africans referred to as independence, none of them adopted a system of governance that was informed by the realities in their countries. Each one of them mimicked a European or American model of governance, and this was his verdict. He says, none of them will succeed on those models. And there is a sense, you can see the evidence. Our constitution is slightly over 10 years. And one of the things, and Professor Mbote will remember this when we were making the constitution, was that if we strengthened the political party, then that would be something that we could use to de-emphasize and to defang ethnicity. It has not succeeded. We tick the boxes by saying we have opened offices in 24 regions, but the truth is, in the last elections in Kenya, none of the presidential candidates has ever contested as a candidate of a political party twice. It is either COD or NASA or PNU or Jubilee or something, which means the political party does not exist. And I want to hear what Dr. Wamwara says about that. Dr. Miawa has a title which is an oxymoron: extra-constitutional constitutional practices in democratic elections in Kenya. I would want us to interrogate that a little more. He himself admits that these are thoughts that are running through his mind as he thinks about issues that have acquired constitutional currency, but they appear to be out of the pale of constitutionality. I would want to hear you speak to that a little bit more so that we are able to interrogate what it is that you have in mind. And I'm quite certain that the audience here will enrich the